Hey everybody, this is Kay Bess, and I play Anna in Lara Croft Rise of the Tomb Raider. You're listening to The Gaming Outsider.
Hey, Go community. On this week's episode, CB, Alyssa, and I are attempting to rename video game genres to give them a bit more of a modern spin, maybe a little bit more better descriptors. The big news of the week is Disney buying a huge stake in Epic Games, so we'll definitely be talking about that. You'll also hear about some new games we've been playing. For instance, Alyssa got her hands on Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, as well as an educational game about the Holocaust called The Light in the Darkness. You'll also hear our impressions of the demo for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it's pretty awesome, just saying. This is The Gaming Outsider. Hey guys, if you're in the market for a new gaming chair, I've got a fantastic deal for you. We've partnered with eWin Racing, who produces the most comfortable gaming chair I've ever sat in. They've got them in sizes for all gamers, and the quality is simply incredible. As a listener of The Go, you can get 25% off your order if you use the promo code TGO at checkout when you visit ewinracing.com. You don't have to just take my word for it, however, as multiple members of our community have picked up a chair for themselves, and they love it just as much as I do. You won't be disappointed. eWin Racing, the best gaming chairs out there. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com or on our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and even our Discord server. There's a link in the show notes if you'd like to join the community. It is Sunday, February 11th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, a guy who I was wondering if was even on the show anymore. It's been so long, Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer.
Yeah.
How you been?
I know, man. I've been off in the wild doing my things.
Yeah. Dude, both of your fans checked in on you and asked if you were okay.
I have fans. Wow,
Two of them.
That's. I mean, hey, somebody's got to think I'm pretty.
Also joining us, who has many more than two fans, Miss Alyssa White. How you doing?
I'm alive, but I've never heard of myself having fans. Make yourselves known.
You know what? I'm a fan of you.
Oh, I'm a fan of you, CB. So now you have three fans.
Look at that.
You've had three friends.
Growing.
No, she was one of the ones I was counting.
Oh.
Fine. Just gotta crush my hopes and dreams, Scott. That's.
Zach, unfortunately, is not joining us today. It is Super Bowl Sunday today, and we needed to record a little bit earlier, and because of his work schedule, he's actually still asleep. So he's not able to join us, but he will be here in spirit. We miss you, man. So before we get into the games we've been catching up on, got to give a shout out. I was a guest on a podcast yesterday called ADH Geek. If you would, those guys over there invited me to join in on some conversations about the news and the games we've been playing. Had a good time, so be sure to check that out. Again, it's on YouTube, ADH Geek. It was a live recording, but you can obviously go back and rewatch it. So let's get into it. CB, it's been a minute. What you been catching up on?
Oh, surprisingly, not a lot of games. A lot of life stuff, but I have been playing a fair amount of Baldur's Gate 3.
Now, when you say fair amount, because fair amount to me sounds like, okay, maybe 6 or 7 hours, but in your world, fair amount is a different meaning.
I mean, I'm not quite like Kevin Honigford level of Baldur's Gate, but I put about 10 hours in yesterday. But here's the thing:
the last time I had time to sit down and play 10 hours of a game in one day.
Yeah, that's the thing is over the past 2 weeks, though, due to life stuff, I've gotten to play only a couple times because of a side project I've been working on. It felt good to play games.
So I don't know if you've talked about it on this show. How are you digging Baldur's Gate 3?
I'm liking it. I get to play a bard.
You are playing a bard? Of course you are.
Yeah, I mean,
of course you are.
Bard smash.
Yeah, how far into the story are you? Did you get through Act 1 at least, or no?
I'm in a significant building at the end of Act 2.
Okay, I don't know what that means because I've barely scratched the surface. I did not get to play any Baldur's Gate 3 this week.
I have no knowledge of Baldur's Gate because I haven't even started yet. So
all
I know is Astarion. That's it.
Which surprisingly everybody makes a big deal. I have no idea who that is.
Seriously?
Yeah,
he's a vampire guy, right?
Nope. You meet him in the first 10 or 15
minutes.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I don't think you have. I don't think everyone meets him. I think it's
unless you killed him, because I think you have the option to kill him.
Yeah, you can kill. I think anyone, and that's what I've heard.
No idea.
At the very beginning, there was he sneaks up on you and kind of wrestles you on the ground and has a conversation with a knife to your throat.
Nope, never happened.
That is just insane to me.
Maybe you have to go somewhere to trigger it. And
yeah, dude, I have no idea who you're talking about.
That is fascinating. Wow. I mean, I had something similar. There was a who's the female character you get at the very beginning? When you're in that opening sequence, it's in the chamber that you rescue from the pod.
I can picture her, but I don't know her name.
Yeah, Shadowheart. My first time playing, I did not even know there was a person there I could rescue. So I went through the first part of the game without. Yeah, well, I have both in my when I restarted with Kevin. So it's just insane how people remember these are the conversations we had back when we played games like Heavy Rain, where we'd get to the end and then we compare notes and this happened and that happened. But this feels like it is just pushed to 11 in terms of things that you can miss or not see. I just feel I know everyone complains about $70 price tags, but just the sheer replayability you have in this game to number one, play as different characters and have different story things happen, and it's just insane.
Well, and see, it blows my mind because I know Asterion is the dude on the cover that you see. So the whole time I've been playing, I'm I have no idea who this is. I've never come across this player.
That's so interesting.
And so now I'm just do I have to go back to the beginning to find this person? Because I said, I've got no idea. I've got me, Shadowheart, and a warlock and a barbarian.
I don't even have a barbarian. Is a warlock the African American character? Yeah. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, the barbarian that I have is a she-devil who's
Wait, I think I had that's got the fire engine thing going on. Yeah, that character's pretty awesome. I can't remember her name, and Kevin's cursing my name right now, but it's been 2 weeks since I played it, so
yeah, I just played it yesterday. I'm now having a brain fart thanks to that too, but dude, she between you know how we play our campaign where it's my character and Nate's character just kind of leading the group. Yeah, that's me and her.
Nice.
That's my bard likes to. I have a bunch of initiatives, so I go first.
Yeah, I don't play this game alone. It's just so much fun playing it with somebody. So I wait until someone's available, and unfortunately, mine and Kevin's schedules did not align this week. And my Borderlands group, I got to come up with another name for that because we're not going to play Borderlands anymore. But we're going to get together and play it. I think. But I just don't want to play it by myself. It's just so much fun with a person. So I have been playing more Sands of Time. Chris, I don't know if you listened to the episode last week, but I went back and bought it on Steam. I'm about 65 or 70% of the way through that game. That game is great. I had hoped to have it finished this week, but I had student conferences and it was kind of messy. So hopefully I will have an update for you on that game next week.
You don't need to do them conferences.
I do, man. I do.
No, you don't. Don't buy them.
He's just trying to get you to play games more.
Oh man, I'll take it. I had 2 DJ gigs this week, so I just have my time this weekend to play games is limited. Now we got the Super Bowl tonight. It's just too much going on.
Dude, I feel that between sorting.
I don't want to hear about how you don't have time to play games, Mr. 10 hours on one game yesterday.
Oh my gosh, one setting versus 5 days straight of cleaning movies. Ugh.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Couple of trailers to talk about. First off, Wake Runners. It's a MOBA from Mint Rocket that is the developer of Dave the Diver. We got a trailer for Knuckles, the 6-part series on Paramount Plus, which is coming out on April 26th. Disney is pushing to invest in Epic Games for $1.5 billion with a B dollars. Atari is creating a celebrity game show, and the developers of Dead Cells are moving on, as it seems. CB, I feel like all 3 of these stories.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about all 3, so you guys can just sit back for a while.
Where do you want to start, man?
Man. First off, Atari's creating a game show. Delicious.
I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yes.
We don't get enough video game themed game shows.
I just learned about this today because of this, so I haven't had a ton of time to do some research into this.
Well, there's not a lot of info out there.
I know, but sometimes I go digging deep on the internet into dark holes and try to find things. So the show will be called the Great Atari Celebrity Game Show. The Great Atari Celebrity Showdown. Terrible name, guys. Clean it up. The only description is it celebrates the history of gaming, the culture of entertainment, and the joy of competing like we're kids.
That all sounds great.
Dude, yeah. I really hope it's like the old Hollywood Squares.
Like a trivia type thing?
Kind of. But like I would love to have just like the multiple celebrities and being like, okay, you two have to face off playing barnstorming.
See, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. Like, remember the movie Grandma's Boy where they had to play Frog Bog against one another and everybody was getting into it? I want that kind of stuff with just these old games. Oh man, that would be great.
Can you imagine if you actually brought those people in and they had to play Frog Bog?
Instead of like just pretending.
Yeah.
Little DDR as well. What's high score mean? Did I break it?
I love that movie.
I do too. It's so stupid, but I love it.
So I'm really curious to see the format on how this is going to be, but I also want this to be like the old school game shows where it's like, and the winner gets, and it's just like something like a brand new Atari, something dumb. Like I miss those types of game shows when we were kids.
I mean, there were some that were really cool. Do you remember the one game show when we were kids where the very end thing was it was like an obstacle course where you had to run through? I think it was on Nickelodeon, but then like the kid was wearing a full body suit that had like Velcro on it, and you would grab the NES games and like stick them to yourself and try to get through the end, and then whatever you got stuck to yourself, you got to take home.
I just looked this up because you can watch some of the episodes on YouTube.
Right. I mean, I don't know if it'd be entertaining now because the games aren't new, but like if they did that with a kids show and they got Switch games or V-Bucks or something like that, they got to just that.
But again,
why isn't that a thing?
But this is a bunch of celebrities doing it. So
no, I know. I'm talking pipe dream.
No,
I'm
don't get me wrong. It'd be funny as hell to watch Kim Kardashian just get hit in the face with a giant like ball.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is it celebrities? And I understand that celebrities play games too, but how many well-known celebrities know the history of Atari?
It's probably going to be like what they do at Dancing with the Stars, get people that haven't really been, most of the time haven't been relevant for a while. Be like, here's a paycheck.
Like a Password or Pyramid, where they have somebody that's a celebrity and then like a non-celebrity that teams up with them.
Hollywood Squares. Okay. All these archaic celebrities.
There you go. I like it. One of the executive producers, Jay Blumenfield, says, "We're excited to partner with Atari to bring you the ultimate celebrity game show filled with drama, comedy, and nostalgia." And that's pretty much all the details we have on it, but this is going to be on my radar. I don't even know where it's going to be. Did they even say like if it's going to be a streaming thing, if it's going to be on actual TV?
It's, knowing my luck, it'll be locked behind a paywall with Apple TV.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it'll probably be on like one of the only streaming services people don't usually have.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like that Atari is going into the nostalgia factor. Like they just released those games recently, like Atari 50.
That's what they do, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
It's not like they're making a whole lot of new stuff, or they're still making legitimate consoles.
Right. Well, what's funny is I hear this and I think, why can't Nintendo do something like that? But then I think, well, Nintendo's been rehashing their stuff for forever. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the virtual console, and they keep doing new Mario games and new Mario Karts, and so like I feel like we're already inundated with the history indirectly of Nintendo.
Well, but I feel like this is where a lot of companies just drop the ball, because can you imagine if they would have cross-done this with VR?
Yeah.
No. Hang on. Sounds dumb, but if instead of a live studio audience, if you had a VR headset, you could sit in on the recordings.
Okay, like a 1 versus 100 thing?
Yeah, like you are the audience, and just like this week on Oculus Network, boop, and just sit here and watch this live.
That would be pretty cool. That would be cool.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to implement.
Alyssa, any of these stories interest you?
I mean, let's talk about Disney pushing to invest in Epic Games for $1.5 billion with a B dollars, which will inevitably increase the price of Disney Plus and Hulu.
That's okay. I'm pretty close to dropping Disney Plus anyway. I don't remember the last time I watched it.
Yeah, they keep suckering me in though because they have the K-dramas now, and it's like, really? That's beside the point. Anyway, the media giant will work with the Fortnite studio to create new games and an entertainment universe where consumers can play, watch, shop, and engage with content, characters, and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and more. Bob Iger stated, "Our exciting new relationship with Epic Games will bring together Disney's beloved brands and franchises with the hugely popular Fortnite in a transformational new games and entertainment universe," said Robert A. Iger, Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company. "This marks Disney's biggest entry ever into the world of games and offers significant opportunities for growth and expansion. We can't wait for fans to experience the Disney stories and worlds they love in groundbreaking new ways. There's already been a partnership between Disney and Epic for a while, as several Disney characters have appeared in Fortnite. This will likely increase after this goes through."
You want to play as like Donald Duck shooting people in Fortnite? Like...
Dude, I'm sorry. This to me just feels like Disney executives who are out of touch.
I disagree 100%.
Nope, I'm sorry.
This is an absolutely smart move.
Yes and no.
It's going for
when
the
you
kids.
look at Disney's core values, original core values, Walt Disney would be rolling over in his grave.
No, but you're thinking of this strictly from a Fortnite as a third person shooter in a what do you call that, victory royale. I don't think that's what they're going for here. If you've been paying attention to Fortnite is becoming its own platform.
No,
where
I know it is, but at the same time, like Disney is very much like Nintendo. We like control of our stuff. Don't touch our stuff. But
they're still going to have control. They're just not going to make it. I mean, they don't make the Star Wars games. They don't make, Oh,
I know. But Star Wars was not Disney's original property to begin with.
Okay. Epic Mickey was not made by Disney.
I know. Well, they don't even have control of Mickey that much anymore. Really.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
I know. But at the same time, this just seems like another Disney cash grab because they're like, well, we've milked everything else to the absolute bone that we can.
Imagine that. A corporation wants to make money. Yep. Like, you sound like that's like
no. I'm okay with them making money. It's just from a family standpoint, this just feels like not Disney. This feels like we can't make money through how we used to make money. So now we have to resort to ways that like not necessarily would have ever been Disney-esque in the first place.
What do you mean, like the TV shows, like the Marvel and Star Wars TV shows?
Well, okay, when was the last time you had a hyper-profitable Disney movie?
I think I was talking about this on the podcast yesterday. Wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy 3 like the only profitable movie Disney had last year?
I believe so. I think the rest all flopped.
Yeah, I would use a certain phrase, but I do not want to be targeted or shamed. But it seems like since Disney has embraced a certain type of culture, which is not a bad thing, I will say that right now, it just doesn't feel like Disney's. To me, Disney, when it comes to like making movies and making TV shows, has lost a lot of the heart and soul. It just seems like, and pander, more pander.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
Which I'm okay with inclusivity and all that and everything, but when you just remake something to add in something, it doesn't have that same magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's sad because these are all things that I love. Like, to me, it started with the live action remakes of everything. Mm-hmm. I'm like, did anybody ask for this? Did anybody do this?
And I watched them, but those were I watched it the one time and I don't need to ever see it again. Like, if I ever wanted to watch it again, I would go back to the original.
Exactly.
Like it was a fun, it was a novel concept, but I don't need it anymore.
I just wish Disney could go back to catching that lightning in a bottle like they always did. Because for decades it was literally just hit after hit after hit, and over the last like 20 years I'm just like, meh. Like even my kids aren't excited.
The market wasn't exactly saturated like it is now. I mean, Disney was all there was for kids in the 80s and 90s, right? Like there wasn't the kids.
There was a lot of other stuff, but the problem is they didn't have the resources or the imagination behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Studio Ghibli, but back then, I mean, your parents had to be into anime.
Right.
Because I didn't even watch, like My Neighbor Totoro until I was in my 20s. And that is a children's movie.
Well, let's go back to the acquisition a little bit and focus on the gaming side of it, because I think that what Fortnite has been doing lately in terms of making themselves a platform as opposed to just a game is the direction that Disney is going to want Epic to go with this. Because if you remember a couple months ago, or maybe just a month or two ago, there's games inside Fortnite now that are not, the Victory Royale or Battle Royale style of game. We've got, was it Psyonix that made Rocket League now has a racing game inside of Fortnite. There is basically Lego Minecraft inside of Fortnite. Fortnite is becoming so much more than just the Battle Royale. And I think that is what Disney's hope or plan for, is to incorporate things underneath the Fortnite umbrella where kids already are, and doing things like a Disney-style Roblox, a Disney-style, having platformers, having a Animal Crossing type thing, all these different things just with Disney characters, much more refined, and they can do it in a way that is not as offensive when it comes to microtransactions that some of the other things are doing, because when people hear Disney, they think safe, right? They think, oh, it's okay for my kid to play this, and they're not going to, rack up all this credit card debt or whatever. So I think the possibilities here are insane. And I think it's an absolutely smart move, because even though, when we talk about nostalgia, we all have nostalgia for Disney, but kids know the Disney characters just as well as we do. You know what I mean? They all know these movies. They've grown up with them because their parents like them. And some of these things are, like you were talking earlier, Chris, they had such a high bar of quality, and things with a good quality stand the test of time.
They do.
The stuff they're doing now may not be, but the stuff that we watched when we were kids do.
You say that, but almost every time Disney has tried to cash in on something gaming related, it ends up like being really, really hot for a moment and then utterly bankrupting a company.
I like Disney.
You really think
Disney Infinity did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Disney Infinity. Remember that? Like everybody was like, Skylanders, awesome. Biggest thing for a while. Disney Infinity completely tanked that company.
Well, that was a poor timing, right? No, they try to get in too late.
No, they got in at the right time. The problem is that they made just a little bit and they didn't keep expanding.
Yeah.
I mean, when your games are Disney Infinity 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, I'm like, where's the originality, guys?
Yeah.
And because I know Disney does like to have a death grip on their IPs, I'm just worried that they're going to sit here and push stuff into Fortnite, demand an absolute ridiculous amount of just like, oh, well, if you want this costume, you're going to have to pay 99 cents and 99 cents and 99 cents. You say that Disney's safe and everything, but right now they're like, okay, we're going to invest $1.5 billion. We want that back as fast as possible. And this has the potential to utterly crush. Like, because parents are going to be like, no, I'm not putting more money into this crap.
Yeah, because we've been saying that about Fortnite for how long now?
Yeah,
I mean, but do you really think that that Epic is going to run the risk of closure because of a failure of whatever they're going to do with Disney?
They'll just sever ties with it.
I don't see that happening. You've got a beautiful recipe that it just works. That we don't even know what it is, And I'm like, I am already
That's true.
convinced 100% that it's going to work.
But I mean, right here, they even put can play, watch, shop, and engage. Shop comes before engage. So they're like, yeah, we want the money first.
Well, yeah. I mean, entertainment's not free.
I understand that, but lately with Disney and their power-hungry money grab has been disgusting.
I'm much more optimistic than you are. I think that there's going to be a lot of incredible things coming out of Epic. And that's coming from a guy that doesn't play anything from Epic.
I'm not disagreeing with the Epic side of it. I think Epic is going to do just fine. I'm worried how Disney is going to try to choke it out of them.
Out of Epic?
Yes.
What do you mean, choke it out of them?
Just being like, oh, well, we want this, and this, and this, and Epic's like, that's not possible.
Well, I mean, there's going to be conversations.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just worried that what Disney's going to try to squeeze out of this partnership is just going to put Disney into a further hole.
Okay, I'm just shocked. I did not expect to come onto here and be defending Disney, and this just makes so much sense to me.
From a business standpoint, yes, on paper it's great. So was communism.
That is Chris B at thegamingoutsider.com. All right, that leaves me with just this story that I was certain CB was going to take. The Dead Cells is apparently done after almost 6 years now. Motion Twin, the developer, made an announcement on the game's Steam page. Their 35th update for the game. I did not realize they've made that many updates.
That's a lot of updates.
It's also going to be its last and will release later this year. Co-developer Evil Empire also weighed in and said the good news is that our Dead Cells team have been unleashed to pump their talent into our secret projects and will be revealing what their crazy minds have been coming up with very soon. They also wished luck to Motion Twin's next announced project, Windblown, and teasing perhaps more than one project. You guys remember Windblown was shown at the Game Awards in December, which was interesting because I don't remember anything else coming from this developer besides Dead Cells.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about them, but
that's what they did.
That's all. It's the only game they've done.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure.
So.
I'm pretty sure they've only done Dead Cells because Dead Cells was such a huge hit. They're like, we're gonna pump this for all it's worth, and I enjoyed it. But the more I watch that Windblown trailer, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that because I cannot think of it to save my life.
Take Dead Cells, sprinkle in a little Tunic, and add some Castle Crashers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to rewatch the trailer though,
because it's like
this whole
3D
story
Dead
makes
Cells, but with some other
this
elements.
game. This story makes me kind of want to go back and play some more Dead Cells because I haven't played it since.
Dude, it's a completely different animal.
Yeah, I know. I just because I really liked what I played, but I feel like it's been so long. I mean, that game is kind of like starting from scratch every time anyway. But at least they're not shutting down, right? Like we're not telling a bad story about somebody losing jobs or doors being shuttered or anything like that. This is just, hey, after 5 years, we're ready to do something else. And I'm really intrigued to see what that is. I mean, we obviously are aware of Windblown, but the secret project, secret projects is what's really intriguing to me. So
I love these indie developers because honestly, they make some of the more exciting stuff that I'm excited about. I mean, between this and the fact that the guy that made Stardew Valley finally is like moving closer to having his game released, the little chocolatier. Like because these games to me are like feel more like my childhood.
I mean, look at Dave the Diver. I mentioned that earlier with the trailer. I never expected a game that looks like Dave the Diver to be just a massive hit in 2023. Like that game, everybody is talking about that, and people that don't normally play that genre of game are playing it and really enjoying it. So, I'm kind of with you.
But again,
some of my
is that really indie?
Well, yeah, that's a whole other argument.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
But some of the bigger games that have come out the past few years: Dead Cells, Vampire Survivors, Dave the Diver, Sea of Stars, like
Cookie Cutter.
Yeah, like stuff that. Guess what? You don't need the big fancy Call of Duty. That franchise is burned out.
Well, I mean, I swear I don't do it on purpose. but if you look at like my game of the year lists each year, the top one is never a AAA game. You know, it's always either an indie game or a smaller title, maybe a AA title that, you know, that isn't on a lot of people's lists because I have a very specific
this last year
genre that I like.
You all thought Starfield was going to be my number one.
I did, yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, really looking forward to seeing what those guys do next. And yeah, so interesting news week for sure. Oh, did you guys watch the Knuckles trailer?
I did, but I still haven't seen the second Sonic movie, which is
either.
really bad. So I need to watch that. So
I do too.
So I can be prepared for the TV show.
I saw both of the Sonic movies. I'm not as excited for the Knuckles one. I'm looking forward to the third Sonic movie. It's just,
Yeah, Jim Carrey said he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray! Look at me go.
Well, I mean, how many? I mean, he's retired more times than Brett Favre at this point. It seems like
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
But so I hope it does well. It's just almost every time a video game TV show has reared its ugly head, it's never been that great.
Yeah, but you know what? Looking at that trailer, it looks just as good as the movie. Like I mean, I'm not used to that. You know what I mean? I'm used to a poorer quality when it comes to if something that was on screen and then they take the same characters and put them in a movie. It's usually not quite as good. The thing I like about this, 6 episodes. Yes, please. Can we get more of that? I think back to the day when we had
I'm the opposite.
24 episodes.
I miss the old sitcom format. Well,
sitcoms were 20 minutes.
Well, but even a lot of those TV shows were like CSI, even where you had 24 episodes across the season. Now everything's like, oh, we got this season's 12 episodes. This season's 5.
Man, when I start a show and I see that it's like 7 or 8 episodes, I'm like, oh, great, this is awesome.
That's me with American TV shows.
Yeah.
I struggle to sit through them for some reason, but I can like pull up a K-drama and be like, oh, 16 episodes? Sign me up. I'll get through that fast.
If it's a larger budget, like a Game of Thrones style, don't mind the shorter season, because I know it costs money to make them. But I just miss having that like flavor of the week for like half a year, essentially.
Well, part of that too was we were watching those week to week, right? We weren't
That's what
binging television
back to high school.
shows.
When I'd watch all the shows on CW.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I miss like the sitcom style formatting where it's just like.
I remember when what was the WandaVision?
Yeah,
WandaVision I think is the last show where I actually was looking forward to Wednesday every week.
I love that show.
I really enjoyed that one too, especially because each one was like a different genre.
Yeah, anyway, pay a different homage to a different sitcom every week.
We are getting off the beaten path here, guys.
We are now the TV outsider.
I know, right? All right, well, let's move on and talk about Patreon real quick. If you'd like to help support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast, and we give some bonus rewards to those at the $1 tier. It's episodes a little bit earlier. $3 tier gets a bonus episode, and the $5 tier gets 2 bonus episodes each month. We really do appreciate the help. It helps pay for all the costs associated with doing a podcast and the website, hosting fees, all that good stuff. CB, can you let everybody know what's available for them to listen to right now?
The Desert Island games of Scott and Zach with special guest Paul Hine, as well as Meet the Patrons, Paul Hine and Tim Paulin.
That is a fun new series, by the way. We are interviewing people that are contributing to the Patreon. We're just having them on as a guest to talk about the games they've been playing, and then give them a chance to comment on things from the news, and it's really great. I've got another one planned with my Go Borderlands team. Actually, I'm going to sit down with my 3 buddies, and we're going to do an episode on that. So it's going to be fun.
Okay. Also, upcoming episodes, we will be recording a Piece of Mind soon, as well as a Break the Seal on either Lone Ranger or Sands of Time.
Or maybe both, if I can convince Zach to play the Lone Ranger. I'm so excited to have him play the Lone Ranger, because that just feels like a Western. I mean, it's obviously a Western, but it's a really good Western game. I just feel like he's going to like it. So. Why are you saying that in quotes?
I don't know. Just mess with your head. It's fun.
All right. So anyway, if those episodes sound exciting and you'd like to help us out, head over to patreon.com/thegocast. We would appreciate it very, very much. And thanks in advance. Let's go ahead now and jump to the new games that we've been playing. New games coming up this week. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is coming to Switch on February 16th. Skull and Bones, the much talked about this week game, PS5, Xbox Series S, and PC, February 16th. The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 is coming to PS5, February 16th. What is this? Gomp or Quomp? I can't tell if it's a Q or a G.
It's a Q. Comp?
Comp 2, PS5, PS4, Xbox X and Series S. Switch, PC, February 20th. Oh, boy. The Thaumaturge.
I think that's right. I watched the trailer and I think they said Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge.
Thalma?
PC, February 20th. Balatro, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox, and X and S. Xbox One, Switch, and PC on February 20th. You'll hear me talk about that one shortly. Slave Zero X, PS5, PS4, Xbox X and S. Xbox One, Switch, and PC, February 21st. And Terminator Dark Fate Defiance is going to PC on February 21st. Alyssa, any of these stand out to you?
No, I'm going to stick to my backlog because I got too many games I need to catch up on.
All right. CB?
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I figured. I have lost so much interest in that game, which is a bummer because a lot of people are talking about the recent beta this past week. They're speaking very highly of it, but I'm just so tired of hearing about Skull and Bones. I'm just over it already.
Well, I mean, it's one of the biggest things. It was announced a while ago, so it's like the fact that it's finally coming to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, dude, it's pirates.
No, but still,
it's something different.
But it's sad that the more I hear about Skull and Bones, the more I want to go back and give Sea of Thieves a try and play with people, because like I'm more drawn to that than I am Skull and Bones at this point.
Play with people with Skull and Bones too.
I know, but I'm just saying, Sea of Thieves is sitting right there, and I don't have to pay for it.
I mean,
I don't have to pay any more for it.
You don't have to pay for Skull and Bones.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I have two I'm interested in, and CB, I'm wondering if you're interested in this one as well. Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Switch. Are you stoked for that one?
Probably. I want a physical copy.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we could get one and split it. Trade back and forth a little bit. I really want to play that game. I never played it originally. I wanted to so bad, and for some reason I could not convince my parents to buy me one when I was a kid. So I really want to play it. You're sold?
Yeah, I'll split it with you.
Let's do it.
Sharesies.
All right, I will pick it up this week. But the other one that I discovered this week, again, I'll talk about soon, Balatro.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I have. Let me get to it. I'll explain what it is when we get there. But it is a Scott Clark game through and through, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the full thing. I've been playing the demo.
Pointless pinball?
No, shut up. Shut up. No, it's not pointless pinball. So. Let's go ahead and move on to the new games we've actually been playing. Alyssa, I want to start with you because, boy, I think you've made Zach super jealous that you got to play this one. But Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, you're playing on Xbox. This comes from developer Don't Nod, published by Focus Entertainment, and you actually were provided a copy by Sandbox Strategies. Mm-hmm. It's also coming out on PlayStation 5 and PC, but why are you and Zach just so chomping at the bit for this game? Is it because it's Don't Nod, or I'm not seeing in the trailer what you guys are?
For me, partly because it's Don't Nod, but it's also very much steeped in the supernatural and ghosts, which I'm very much into.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not super far into the game right now, but I'm loving it so far. Like, I just want to go and play it because it's sticking in my mind.
Well, give it about another, hour and 15 minutes or so, and you can go do that.
I'd rather hang with you guys.
Aw. She loves us more than Banishers, CB.
Aw.
I love you guys more than a lot of things.
But can you tell me, because the things that did intrigue me about it, because I don't feel like we get enough of these in video games, is it seems to be revolving around a love story.
It is, yes.
Which ever since Final Fantasy VIII, I've just loved it anytime a love story comes up. So how does it play in here? And I also want to hear about the gameplay because I honestly don't know what it is.
Okay, so I can't say too much about the story, but you are following these two Banishers, which are technically like exorcists, named Red and Antea. They are a couple. I'm not sure if they're married or not. That's never addressed, or at least it hasn't been. Red is from Scotland. He is very much Scottish man, wearing the kilt, has the accent.
Yes.
Antea is African American, and this is set in an older time period. The game does warn you there will be racism in the game.
Ah, okay.
And I've already had some people talk to Antea, and I'm like, if I could slap you, I would, but I can't.
Do they use the word?
They don't use that word, no, but they're very obviously like, no, I don't want to help you.
Oh.
But you're sent to New Eden because your friend has called you to help him with some paranormal activity there, but you get there and the town's abandoned. And Red and Antea have to figure out what's going on in this town, why did everyone leave, why are there ghosts here, what happened to their friend. It's just really interesting, and there's some combat. It's not too difficult at the moment. But most of so far while I've played, you're doing deductive work and trying to solve haunting cases, stuff of that nature. Okay. So you're trying to find out why a ghost is haunting a specific place, and you have to call forth the ghost, find certain ingredients to do rituals. You look around the area for clues about why the ghost would be haunting there. It's just that's really interesting to me. I love doing that kind of stuff, and it ties really well into Red and Antea's story. And you do get to see their relationship progress through cutscenes. And they're a wonderful couple, so if you're a sucker for a love story, you're gonna like it because of that aspect. But, I mean, if you like detective work in games, this game is already so much fun with that in that regard, and there's just more and more layers being unraveled as I go along.
So is it fair to say that the gameplay is mostly narrative-driven detective work? There's not, like, action, there's not combat or anything like that?
I would say, enemies pop up all the time, so I'd say it's about 50-50 right now.
Oh, okay.
So you are doing quite a bit of combat. I'm playing on the normal difficulty. So far, it's not that difficult. I don't know if it's going to get harder. So if you're looking for more of a challenge, you might want to choose one of the harder difficulties. There are 6 different ones.
Holy cow. Zach's going to crank it up all the way to the top.
So right now, I'm saying combat's not that difficult, so if you want more of a challenge, crank it up. It may become more difficult as the game goes on, but you can change the combat at any time that you or the difficulty anytime you wish. So
I have one other question about the love story, because I feel like this isn't done enough in games. Is this like a origin story of their love, or are they already established?
They're already established.
Thank God. Like that.
So you're not seeing them like go, oh, does he like me? Does she like me? Oh my God, I can't tell them. No, they are very much already together in love. They're a team. They're working together.
Does it feel real? Does it feel
It does,
forced?
yeah. It does feel very real, and certain things happen. You feel the emotions that they're feeling. The actors are phenomenal. The way they portray these characters and what they are experiencing in that moment. You just feel like you're there with them, and I'm already invested in their story. Like it hooks you right from the beginning. Like, I'm amazed at how well they've portrayed this relationship and this couple already.
Very cool. Again, that is Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, available on Xbox, PlayStation 5, and PC by the time you hear this episode. Are you recommending it?
Right now, yes. I am hooked and really enjoying it.
Sounds good. Thanks for checking that one out.
Well, speaking of other games you've been playing that have slightly racist overtones,
yes.
You've been playing
the theme.
The Light in the Darkness, which looks incredibly sad.
Yes. I've already played this game. I've beaten it, which I know Zach also played this game as well. I believe
I didn't realize that. I thought this was a new game. This is just a port?
They ported it to PlayStation 5 and Steam, I believe. It was originally on PS4 only, I believe.
Oh, okay. That is my bad. I thought this was a new game.
It's not a new game, but I think they just made it more accessible, put it on a couple more platforms. This is a totally free game, by the way, because it's educational. There are no microtransactions, don't have to worry about that. And it's only going to take you an hour and a half to play this.
Oh, okay.
But I would recommend playing it because it's about this family, the Abramoviches, that live in Paris during the Holocaust. And they are a Jewish family. And you play as each of the family members, the father Moses, the mother Bluma, and the son Samuel. And all three of them have different conflicting emotions about what's going on, what they should do. And it does get heartbreaking. And they don't go too in depth to how brutal it really became and what they did, because this is made for pretty much all ages to play. So they don't go too far into the horrors of what actually happened in the Holocaust. Yeah. They give you enough to know. That's it. They're not going to overly explain things. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I have to say I'm impressed with the developer's gumption to put out something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely a hard subject for a lot of people to deal with, especially in this
when they're denying it.
Yeah, well, this day and age, there's the deniers and everything like that. I read, because it's a very story driven game, and like I read some of the text that you see in the trailer, and I'm like, bold strategy, like. Because it does not shy away from some of the stuff.
Oh, for sure.
I applaud that, though, because I remember when other games in the past have tried to do it. Like, remember when Bioshock Infinite first came out? And those opening sequences were like, oh, they're going to go there. Like, we're gonna actually see this. And then it was never touched on in the game ever again. And it became not the theme of the game. That made me so bummed out. Because not that I want to celebrate those things, but I feel like we're so afraid to tackle uncomfortable conversations or topics, in games especially. Like they do in movies all the time, but in games they don't. And you got two of them this week, Alyssa.
Yeah,
so
I did.
Yeah, I mean,
kudos to you.
I'm thoroughly impressed with the fact that they were able to take on subject matter like this.
Oh yeah,
in a respectful manner, because. The only other game that I've played that was free that dealt with like really heavy subject matter was that game I Hope, which deals with childhood cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I played that one.
Ooh, man, it's a game called Hope. That was a game specifically designed for kids with cancer to play, to learn to cope with the emotions that they're dealing with.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's some heavy subject matter.
Yeah.
So,
but I love that this kind of stuff is happening in games, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and it's not dark. Doesn't have to be just Gears of War dark or violent dark or lots of language dark. It could be dark in a way that deals with things that are real. So yeah, that developer is Voices of the Forgotten. It's published by Arcade Distillery and was provided to us. You got a little early copy, or I don't even know if it was a copy, but Game.Press and Keymailer. So you're recommending it?
I would recommend it. Also, they do include archival video footage and photos in the game as well, interspersed throughout. So that really drives it home. Especially you'll see videos of. God, just say what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see videos of Nazis and stuff in this. Like, they're not going to shy away from showing that. I mean, you're seeing actual footage and actual photos. And again, you're not seeing anything too brutal, but you know what's happening. And there's even, like, this little mini game in the game where the mother she's lost her work, so she's doing seamstress work at home. And you, as the player, have to sew on the Star of David's onto clothing, and that's her job.
Wow.
And then her son's like, I don't want to wear this though, because kids are gonna make fun of me at school. And she's like, but you have to wear this. And he doesn't understand why.
Yeah.
So you get that kind of emotion throughout the game. It gets heavier and heavier as it goes on. So I do recommend it, especially because it deals with, this event that actually happened, and it shows you and it explains there was an event that occurred with a museum that I had never even heard about, and I don't want to pronounce it because it's entirely in French, and I don't want to butcher it. I didn't even know this event existed, but the game told me about it. So it is educational, it is emotional, but it's totally free. It's only going to take up an hour and a half of your time. You can play it on Steam or PlayStation 4 or 5. So, if you have any of those platforms, pick it up and play it. It's free, and it's very simple to play.
Awesome. Again, it's called The Light in the Darkness, PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 5.
So, Scott, you played the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo on PS5, and I have not gotten to play this yet, but I was wondering, does it have you excited to play the actual, the full game when it launches?
Oh, absolutely. I was already sold on playing this game anyway, but after playing this, I can't wait. And I had this conversation with Zach because I asked him if he had played it. He's like, no, why would I play a demo for a game I'm already sold on? And I said, well, the reason I did is because they give you some goodies
that carry over. Yeah.
That carry over into the game. Like you get a charm that increases some drop rate, and you get some, some high potions and stuff to start out the game. And I'm like, why not? I kind of wanted to see what it was about, so I went downloaded it. By the way, 50 gig download for a 2-hour demo. So I don't know if that's just the demo or if I just basically installed the first disc of the game. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy that it's that big. What struck me, I had no idea what to expect going into this, but what struck me as surprising was that they went to such a pivotal moment in the story for a 2-hour demo. It's the part where Cloud is rehashing when the past, when he goes back to his hometown village with Sephiroth and does the climb up Mount Nibel and the things that happen there. That is a major moment in the Final Fantasy VII storyline, and for them to do that in a demo is bold. It feels like it is happening at the beginning of the game too. I feel like that reveal wasn't until later in the story in terms of where Remake left off, but they did it in a flashback kind of way. Like Cloud is actually telling a story to Barrett and Tifa. Well, Tifa already knew the story. Barrett, Tifa, and Aerith. It's done really well. The combat feels really great. I was worried about I haven't played this game in 3 years. How am I gonna handle that? And I didn't seem to have any issues. They do a pretty decent tutorial. There's something really fun and interesting with the combat that they do that I don't want to say here because it is a really fun surprise. That I honestly don't know if I want to tell you to wait for the game or play the demo, because if you want the goodies, that's why I did it.
Yeah.
Really dug it. It looks gorgeous. It's so much fun, just like with Remake, going back and seeing these places that we know from the original game, but seeing them not in 32-bit polygon. You know what I mean? It's so great. And I cannot wait to dive into this game. It's just the junction system is back. I miss the junction system, the materia, not junction, but the materia slots, and you can pair some up, and I miss that so much. So I'm looking forward to that. There is one other thing I want to mention really quickly. If you're already sold on the game, you're already sold on the game.
Yeah.
But it's just exactly what I wanted from this, and I can't wait to see where it goes. There is one thing, though. Do you remember in Final Fantasy VII, Zach actually pointed this out to me, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, when you're in the Shinra building, and there's the artwork on the wall, and there's one piece of art that really looks a lot like Balam Garden from Final Fantasy VIII, and we were all kind of toying with whether or not that meant Final Fantasy VIII Remake was going to come back as well?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the demo for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, in the town, there's this little part where you can go up to a piano and play the piano or whatever. And on the wall, there is a poster that is a clear representation of a shot from Final Fantasy VIII. So that would be 2 references to Final Fantasy VIII in Final Fantasy VII, which makes me wonder if there is another remake, like a remake for 8 planned in the future, or that Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII could in fact be in the same universe.
Are you talking the Final Fantasy VIII poster? Because somebody pointed out to me that there's a Final Fantasy X poster.
I didn't see Final Fantasy X. I saw Final Fantasy VIII. It was like dolphins and can't remember his name. Squall, kind of leaping up.
I don't know. Somebody said that because I talked to somebody who said that, like, yeah, I saw the thing for Final Fantasy X. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. You already know I'm going to be playing it, so I'll have to track it down myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty great. So yeah, I not much more to say. It's a 2-hour demo, but it definitely got me amped up to keep playing that for sure.
So, Scott,
Mm-hmm.
tell me about this pointless pinball game.
It's not a pointless pinball game.
It's not.
Balatro. It is it's a card game of all things. I did not think I was going to get into this game. My buddy Mike out in Portland, he and I do this thing where we recommend games to each other, and we just say, "Don't even look up this game. Just download it and play it. You're going to like it." And he kept insisting I play this game, and I didn't. And then he finally said, "Look, if you don't play this demo, I'm going to disown you as a friend." So I'm like, okay. So I downloaded this thing. Fine. He's joking, but he's apparently put like 14 hours into this demo, and he finally beat it after 14 hours. So it is outstanding. This game has so much going on for it. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out the trailer.
I looked at it. I'm confused.
Yes, I was very confused when I watched it too. It is very daunting looking. I think I shared it with a friend of mine, and he said something to the effect of, it looks like there's about 20 different games going in it at once, which I totally get. But at its core, what this game is, you are, okay, think of it like a, I don't know, we're going to call the genre now, like a roguelike, where you go on runs, and the goal of runs is to get as far as you can, and you basically have the first round. It's called a blind, just like poker, because this is a game using poker hands. So the first round is a blind of 300, and in order to pass this round, you have to score at least 300 chips, and you earn chips by creating poker hands. So at its core, it's very simple. You're given 8 cards, you're given a certain number of hands that you can play, and you're given a certain number of discards that you can use. So you can select up to 5 cards, discard them, and then it replenishes your card deck. You try to make a poker hand, you score it. If you get 300 points, you move on to the next round. That is at its core what the game is. Where the game starts expanding is obviously the next run is going to be more chips required, and you start getting modifiers to be able to do things with these hands. So, boy, this is such a hard game to explain without actually having it physically in front of you to show you. But whenever you play a hand, you have the choice to either play a hand or to discard. If I play the hand, I put it in the field. It tallies up how many chips I earn from playing that hand, which I get certain points for playing the hand, and I get certain points for multipliers. You get multipliers by joker cards. Joker cards, there's like 5 slots up the top, and there's something like 150 different joker cards that do crazy things. Just think like Binding of Isaac, where you find random objects in the environment and they just do crazy things. Think of that in terms of a card game. So a joker card might, I don't know, give you multipliers for if you play a spade. It might give you an extra hand for this run. And so instead of 4 hands, you have 5 hands. Just all these things to make your deck stronger and stronger as you go. And these multipliers keep adding and adding and adding, and then it just keeps like so. The first round I said you need 300 chips. The last round I played, I was up to like 15,000 chips that I had to get. That's how insane these multipliers get. My favorite one that I've come across so far is every time you play a certain suit. For me, the last time it was diamonds. Anytime I play a diamond, I get 4 extra multipliers. So when you play a hand, it shows you how many chips you get for playing that hand, and then there's a multiplier next to it that it multiplies whatever your multiplier number is by the number of chips, and that's actually how many chips you get. So if I get 4, a times 4 for playing a diamond, and I play a flush, I now get 20 times the amount of chips because I played 5 diamonds. So then things start just exponentially increasing the more Joker cards you play, and then based on how well you do, before you go to the next blind, you earn money, and you use that money to purchase Joker cards, or there are things called celestial cards that allow you to level up the hand. So if I can level up a flush. So now my flush is worth twice as much as it was before, or my straights are twice as much as they were before. Then there are tarot cards. Tarot cards are like consumables, where you get something good that happens, but the card is gone. And then there are these foil packets that you can purchase that, like the old school, like Pokemon or whatever, where you open it up and there's 5 random cards and you get to pick one of them and they do something nice for you. It's just all really cool stuff like that, and it just makes it super, super fun, and it is absolutely addicting. 100% addicting. I can't stop playing it, and it's coming to console. I'm playing it on Steam Deck. That's the only place the demo is. But it's coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. I am 100% going to pick up this game on Xbox because I want to see where it goes and just sit back and chill. Only negative thing I will say about it, the music needs to be turned off as soon as you start it. The music gets
obnoxious music
really, really fast. So, and one other minor complaint: the spades and the clubs are very, very difficult to differentiate. It's very easy to. I almost wish they were a different color. Like, they do a good job with the diamonds and the hearts. They make the diamonds like a duller red and the hearts a nice bright red, and that works really well. But the spades and the clubs, but it's got that the look of it has that, when you go to Vegas and you play those video poker machines where like it's like on a screen and you're playing five draw poker, whatever.
Yeah,
it's got that look to it where it feels like you're on one of those screens with that slight. I don't want to say haze, but you know what I mean? Like, it's
an
got
old
that
CRT style.
Yeah, like it's got Vaseline over it or whatever, but in a good way. Like it's got that motif to it that I really dig. I imagine I'll be talking about this more in the future because I honestly can't decide where I want to play it, because it's a perfect mobile game, right? Like, I want to be able to play it on the go, but I really want to just play it on my couch. I really need to just get like what's that little handheld thing I got to play Xbox games streamed?
The Backbone? No.
Backbone. I have a Backbone,
yeah?
and
Okay.
I don't use it because it doesn't fit on my case. But
Take the case off your phone.
it's such a pain in the butt to take the case on and off, man.
I hate taking cases off my phone.
I mean, I
really
have an
sucks.
OtterBox for my phone, and it comes off fairly easily.
I have an OtterBox as well, but mine is like, girl, no, we're not coming.
Oh, man.
Seriously, I want more people to check out this game. It feels like a game that's going to fall under people's radar because it's just a card game. But the more you play it, the more you see how many moving parts are going on in this game at one time. And when it clicks and you get a really good run, it just feels awesome. Imagine if Binding of Isaac were a card game. Like, it's just kind of the way to say it, because it's just so much fun. And you can get a ton of enjoyment just on the demo. Like I said, I've been playing it about 5 hours. I can't tell you the last time I put 5 hours into a demo, especially a card game. You know what I mean? This is something special, and I really hope more people people will give it a chance, because it's really great. And there you have it. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Balatro, Balatro. Go play the demo and tell me your
Balatro.
Balatro.
I think maybe in the trailer they said Balatro, but
Balatro.
I
Yeah.
can't remember.
I went back and listened to the trailer to make sure I pronounced it correctly, and I still can't remember it. So yeah, but I trust you, Alyssa.
I just like the name.
Balatro.
I don't know if you should trust me with this one, because I don't remember if it was Balatro or not.
It's Balatro, but the developer did. What a great name, LocalThunk.
Yeah, that's and published by Playstack.
Yeah, that not as good as LocalThunk.
Yeah, but this is going to be on my radar. I will be shocked if I don't play this next week. I got a holiday coming up too, so Gonna be some catch up.
Valentine's Day?
I'm dreading that day so much.
President's Day is coming up.
Oh.
I get President's Day. That's one of the perks of being a teacher. So, all right. Very quickly, want to remind you of our social media outlets. I mentioned earlier, facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. Got an awesome community over there. New members, Brandon Winquist, Winter Mullenix, and Mike Wheeler. Welcome to the community. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Also, our Discord server is live and thriving. There is a link in the show notes. You can come join us. This isn't a new member, but a returning member, Daniel Gilmore, was a pretty prominent figure on Discord, and he is back. So welcome back, sir. It is great to be talking with you once again. And he just completed his, I believe, his nursing degree. So he is...
I saw him in the Discord.
Yeah.
But he mentioned Thomas with a weird accent, and I'm not Thomas, but I have a weird accent, so I hope I can fill that gap for you, Daniel.
Yeah. He actually said that British guy, and I was like, no, Thomas is actually Dutch.
Yes, he's Dutch.
Yeah. Also, if you get a chance, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to episodes. We would appreciate it greatly. It helps us get the word out there. Check out our website, thegamingoutsider.com. You can find all our episodes and all of our written content, including Zach's review of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and also Rearview Mirror, which Alyssa reviewed for us on PC. Again, thegamingoutsider.com. Let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. It's a shame that Zach's not here this week because he's partially responsible for this topic this week.
Mm-hmm.
If you've listened to the show at all, you're probably aware that Zach has decided that he's through with calling games from a certain genre Metroidvanias and has decided that they should be called gear-gated games instead. David Newman, one of our writers, thought it would be fun to discuss what we would call other genres to give them a bit more of a description or a modern twist. So here's what he had to say about it on his pitch for this topic. So this is coming from David. A good name for a genre can really give you a good idea what the core gameplay will be. If you're playing a racing game, you expect that most of your time will likely be racing. But there seems to be a sort of laziness with coming up with new genre names. Popular genres such as Souls-like and roguelite or roguelike are based off of games that pioneered the genre. Problem is, if you don't know what those games are or have never played them, how do you really know what kind of game it is? For example, had no clue what a Metroidvania was for the longest time. That was until a couple years ago, Zach coined the term gear-gated, which perfectly explains what a Metroidvania really is. I thought it would be a good idea to try to come up with some more explanatory genre names for some popular genres of games. But before we get to those, this is still David talking. Why do you think games like roguelike or Souls-like haven't gotten a better genre name? I'm assuming. Do you think it's pure laziness, or is there something else there? What do you guys think?
I think, yeah. I mean, you name it after the titan of that genre, it sticks. Mm-hmm. People call it that. There's no need to change it because pretty much everyone in that plays games knows that term. If they don't know that term, they'll learn that term.
I think it's more of the case of something that just stuck first, mm-hmm. and something that people in the moment immediately recognize, because I can't tell you how many times I write a review on a gear-gated game, mm-hmm. and I post it as a gear-gated game in the description, and I get message upon message from people saying, what's a gear-gated game? You know, people that may not listen to the episode or something. So it's not stuck quite yet. Yeah, I mean, we're a tiny little podcast, so I don't expect it to, but
it would be like, it's a Metroidvania.
Yeah. I mean, people that have played Metroid or Castlevania know what Metroidvania means, but mm-hmm. David is a prime example of somebody that never played Metroid, never played Castlevania.
That's
so when you smash them together, it doesn't say anything. So in his mind, gear-gated game was a good descriptor, but it's a matter mm-hmm. of getting it to stick. Yeah. Not necessarily to stick to give us the glory, but just so that we know what we're talking about, and that's kind of like the spirit behind this.
Well, something like Souls-like, it stuck with Souls-like because for the longest time it's like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2. Like, there wasn't much else in the genre at the moment.
Right, and then Bloodborne came along, and then just
Sekiro, and then Elden Ring.
Yeah, it just became its own genre. I mean, even Lies of P, and so
Neo, stuff like that. So,
but like I said, I don't think it's necessarily lazy. I think it's just at the time Dark Souls and Demon Souls were the only games like that, right? And so to call them Souls-like at the time made sense because a game is like Dark Souls or Demon Souls. Well, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense because why would we call one of those a Souls-like? Those are Souls games. So calling a game a Souls-like, it would have been whichever one came after.
Well,
was Bloodborne the next one?
I think so. But well, I mean, it's also the fact that you're paying homage. So are you playing a Souls game or a Souls-like?
Well, I feel like a lot of people, when they're playing a Dark Souls game or another From Software game, if they're playing something that's not from the Demon Souls, Dark Souls series, they call it a FromSoft game. But then people that play, like Lies of P or Neo, then they'll refer to it as a Souls-like.
Right, but also calling a game a from game doesn't describe what the game is.
That's true. You have to know who the developer is of those games.
Right. So if you've never played a From Software game and someone says, "Hey, have you played this From-like or whatever, whatever?"
The From-like.
Yeah. I mean,
dirty.
I think some of the laziness comes actually not in the initial naming, but in the laziness of coming up with something better that's more descriptive before it's stuck. You know what I mean? Because at the time, Souls-like wasn't a lazy title because there weren't that many of them.
That's true.
It was a very specific genre, so it kind of made sense. But now that they're everywhere, and
you mean like a Metroidvania?
Dude, the problem is that like what I said earlier, if you call it by anything else, people don't know what you're coming because they're not used to the name. So how do you get a new name into the universe and get everybody to call it that?
And I understand the uphill battle that we are trying to establish gear gated game.
Yeah.
But the problem is everybody's like, this reminds me of Metroid. And I'm like, yes, I understand. But what is the concept of the game? Gear gated game.
Yeah.
Well, and Metroidvania, again, at the time, made sense because if you look at the map of Super Metroid and the map of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, they almost look like they're made from the same people. Like, they're like the same color scheme and everything. It was so similar. It made sense to mash those together, and at the time, it was clever. It's not so much anymore, especially because, like I said, there's people that have not played either of those games, so it doesn't make sense. So changing the name now makes more sense. It's just difficult to get people to adapt to it, or because we can't agree on anything. We can't all agree on it. All we can't agree on is what it was called first. So whatever something is called first is what it's going to be called, whether we like it or not. That's what's going to stick with the most people, and it's unfortunate.
I mean, it's stuck. I mean, we don't call every platformer a Mario-like.
No, but platformer also makes sense. Like that's one that's on our list we're going to talk about.
Oh, I know.
I don't have another name for that because I think that's perfect. It's 100% perfect.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were to go like Mario, yes, that doesn't work. It doesn't sound right. But a Souls-like, everybody's like, oh yeah.
It rolls off the tongue a little bit better too. Maybe it's just that one syllable as opposed to two. Souls-like, roguelike, as opposed to Mario-like.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound right.
It's a mouthful. So, I think it's kind of fascinating, and I learned very quickly. I am not creative. I am terrible at coming up with names for these. So thank goodness our community came through because they came up with some really good ones.
There's a couple that I want to adopt.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, there's some that I'm like, this needs to be a thing right now. We'll get there. But before we do, we're going to kind of go through and see what we each came up with for some of these. We're going to start with first-person shooter. I'm going to be completely direct with you guys. That name does not need to change. To me, first-person shooter tells us exactly what you're doing. You're shooting in first person. Same with third-person shooter.
Well, my lovely name was, just call it a shooty shooty bang bang.
Shooty shooty bang bang! Well, it's just like
an SSBB?
Just like a
2S2B?
Just like boomer shooter.
Well, again, boomer shooter, I know what you're saying when you say boomer shooter. That's just where you're just mowing down lots and lots of enemies without a whole lot of worry about ammunition, right? It is
yeah, but it's still funny because that's stuck. But shooty bang bang.
shooty bang bang. I mean, at least we don't call them Doom likes anymore. And I guess that's a whole.
But see, Doom like to me would be more like would fall more like that's its own thing, man.
Yeah.
Like there's been very, very few games that have emulated Doom or Wolfenstein to that degree.
You mean in terms of like the old school graphic style, or
just very short levels like that?
Oh, so like, yeah, it's got old school sensibilities where it's not like an open world game where it's not super immersive. It's just 3D corridor shooter.
Yeah. Hallway shooter.
But we also called them Doom likes. Anything that came out in first person like that. But I'm kind of backing myself into my own argument here. I'm refuting my own argument earlier, in that we just kind of stick with whatever they're called. We don't call them Doom likes anymore. Like, are we going to get to the point where what we call Souls likes now are so far past Dark Souls that we do call them something else? And what is the tipping point where we do come up with a name for them?
But at the same, like, yeah, you backed yourself into a corner because Metroidvania, like, it's been so long since the original properties.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like Doom is still a thing. You know, Doom Eternal.
It is not the same thing as it originally was.
It's still a first-person shooter.
It's a first-person shooter, but it's not small, compact levels like that. Where I don't
think that's what you think of when you think Doom like.
But the original Doom and Wolfenstein, like when I think of those games, like hallway shooter.
Okay.
Because it's tight. It's not like it's this big wide open area. It's very small, compact, like
corridor shooter.
Yeah, like corridor hallway shooter.
Okay. I mean, couldn't you say the same thing about like System Shock? Wouldn't System Shock be considered a corridor shooter?
Kinda, yeah. But it's a subgenre of first-person shooter.
Oh my god, we're gonna get into subgenres. This is just gonna get so confusing. So yeah, do you have one for first-person shooter, CB?
No, it's just FPS all day.
I mean, even the acronym is just perfect. I feel like that one
See, that's the problem, is you will say FPS and you will have two groups. You will have first-person shooter or frames per second.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's if it's capitalized or if it's not capitalized.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
But if you hear it, then you don't know if it's capitalized or not.
But you're just like, yeah, man, that FPS, and people like,
frames per second, first person shooter.
Finish the sentence.
Hey, what's the FPS on that FPS?
Yeah, it's which order are you asking in?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is just but that's why, like, you almost have to say first person shooter. Like, you can't.
So do we replace like first person boomer?
Back in the early days, like when Counter-Strike, like the OG Counter-Strike, you could say FPS and nobody cared about frames per second. Frames per second didn't really come along as much until like, ooh, graphics. Because if you look at the old Counter-Strike, like, graphics were bad, but the game was great.
Sure. So can we replace shooter with something else instead of first-person shooter, first-person gunner, FPG?
Shooty bang bang.
That's what I stick with.
I know.
First-person shooty bang bang.
And then you got a third-person shooty bang bang.
I'm just playing my shooty bang bang over here.
I've got oh, you shooty bang bang, shooty bang bang, we love you. I'm going to have that song stuck in my head the rest of the day now.
You're going to be watching the Super Bowl, just be shooty bang bang.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's try again, because we kind of failed on first-person shooter. But I went into this one knowing there was not going to be a name I was going to come up with for first-person shooter. So how about roguelite or roguelike?
Okay, I'm sorry, but like we have to bring up a person's comment because of this one. Because I am adopting this term and I'm running with it from now on. Like, Because I've always hated roguelike.
Well, again, it's another one that's based on a classic game that, admittedly, I've never played Rogue.
Yeah, I know, but I hate it. Like, I think it's a dumb name, and I like this better. So, David Newman writes in with this gigantic book.
You gonna read the whole thing?
We'll come back to it. But he wants to call roguelikes run-based randomizers.
Run-based randomizers. That is perfect.
It describes what the game is to a T. So it's just RBRs.
RBR.
So
that is beautiful. I'm really angry I did not come up with that myself.
Yeah. Congrats, David Newman. We are adopting this term. It will now live there with Gear Gated Game.
All right. We're gonna have to make a post or I'm gonna have to make a graphic
from now on,
image.
This is what these are called. Shooty bang bangs.
We're not calling them shooty bang bangs.
From now on, just to annoy you, I'm going to call hey, did you play the new shooty bang bang?
I'll do it too. See.
Oh.
I came up with the name.
Oh my goodness. All right. That is good though. But what did you guys come up with? Because mine's pretty lame.
I didn't.
Okay.
Because I couldn't think of anything.
I know.
So the moment I saw that, I was like,
we already have a winner anyway, so anything else is just going to be less. What's yours, Alyssa?
I was just going to say Temporal Loop Simulator.
Temporal Loop Simulator.
Because you start at the beginning again. You do have randomized drops and stuff, but you're doing the same thing, find the same enemies, going through the same stages.
I like it. Mine's super lit. I'm just going to call them try-agains.
I mean, that works.
Try-agains.
Sliders.
You
never watched the show Sliders, man?
No.
Same universe, different takes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No,
dude.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen Sliders, you're not going to know what that means.
I know. Weird 90s subgenre.
I feel like I can see the image. Isn't it looks like a portal that spins or something like that?
That's dark.
Is it? Okay. Anyway. All right, so we failed there. How about Souls-like?
Frustration Station.
Frustration Station.
I do like that one.
Or
and where do you play it? On the PlayStation.
The Frustration Station on the PlayStation. Say that 5 times fast.
Well, Alyssa, you got one?
Masochist Dream.
Masochist Dream.
Masochist Dream. Because
interesting.
You're just hearing yourself over and over again playing this game.
I put an acronym down and I can't remember what my acronym stands for. TPGs.
Totally pointless game.
No. It was supposed to be tough. It was supposed to be
painful game.
It was supposed to be a take on RPG, but I was supposed to replace it with T, and I totally realized I just screwed that up. So tough playing game? No. TGs, just tough game. I don't know. Brutal TPGs is what I had written down, and I can't remember.
Playing game.
Tough playing games.
Frustration Station.
I think Frustration Station works. Yeah. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to start talking about these in the future. We just have to say them as this type of game without ever...
That's why I said shooty bang bang.
Yeah.
Except for shooty bang bang.
Frustration Station.
On the PlayStation. Okay. Platformer, I still say no change.
Jumpy Boys.
Jumpy Boys. Come on.
You fall, you die.
I love how you guys are just giving full sentences to genre names.
Jumpy Boy.
It's amazing.
BOI, Jumpy Boy.
Any other genres stick out as non-descriptive that isn't in the list?
Splinter Cell style games or Hitman style? Sneaky Boy.
Come on. You can't just put one word descriptor - boy for every genre.
Yes, you can.
Jumpy Boy, Sneaky Boy, Racing Boy.
Well, I mean,
collecting Boy, Puzzle Boy.
Yeah.
Now who's being lazy? Did you have any others, Alyssa?
I was just gonna say.
She's thinking about boy.
No.
Sneaky boy.
Well, I mean, we had open world games on there before. I'm like, OCD person's worst nightmare.
Oh,
Have to finish all the side quests.
List games, Scott Clark game.
Yeah, we just brand them as like some, like, not me, but like some, like if we just called battle royales ninjas or something like that. Oh, did you play that the new ninja style game? Again, doesn't give any descriptor of what it is, but all right. Well, thankfully, our community is much more creative than the three of us, and hopefully they can come up with something better than Sneaky Boy. So let's start.
Sneaky
I
Boy.
forgot. We also have delivery duties.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cutie
Walking
booty
simulators.
delivery duty.
Cutie booty delivery duty.
Well, actually,
On the beach.
delivery duty is not a bad name for a walking simulator.
Yeah. You are literally delivering from A to B.
Yeah. Press X to pay respect.
Telltale Games. Storytime, boys.
Stop it with the boys. Oh, let's start over on Facebook. Brandon Smith says, I feel like roguelike genre should be renamed loop progression or something similar. I think Alyssa, wasn't yours something about loop?
Temporal loop simulator.
Temporal loop simulator. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but
yeah, that,
I like
that
where you're
one's
going.
better.
Plus, like, I think David's is, I've already forgot what it was.
Run-based randomizer.
Run-based randomizer. It's going to take me a while for that to catch
Oh,
up
dude,
on.
it's already like burned into my brain.
Yeah. Brandon goes on to say, I feel this is an opportune time to once again push for either the adoption of the term bum-up when referring to beat-em-ups, or the retirement of the term shmup, which when referring to shoot-em-ups, as both shortened versions could sound equally stupid and don't actually save any time.
Okay, shmup I'm okay with, but instead of bum up, just drop the U and call it a bump.
Bump.
Hey, you got a bump?
Well, no. Like, what do you get?
I need a bump.
What happens when you get hit? You get a bump.
Yeah. I can't see anything wrong that could happen with that.
Punchy boys?
I got my 12-year-old a bump for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, beat 'em ups now. Punchy boys.
I think I'm okay with shmup just because it's so ingrained
Yeah.
into my brain. You know what I mean? And it's just that.
What happens
Like,
when you
what
have
else
a
do you call
shmup that's
it?
horizontal?
It's a shmacross.
There you go. Shmacross.
I don't know. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I could just see Zach just like seething in anger. A what?
A shmacross.
I like
It's a shmup or a shmacross. That might be my favorite. It's gonna be.
You are so welcome that I brought that up, because now it's just like, oh, you played the newest Shmacross. What happens when it's in a 3D environment, Scott?
Shma everywhere.
That sounds dirty. Oh, Shma everywhere.
Oh my god. So
Shmacross.
So Ikaruga is a shmup, but R-Type is a shmacross.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to make a list and put this up. Like, if we ever use this term, this is what we mean.
It's a shmacross and a shmup. Or you could just drop the, instead of saying bump or whatever, just say beam up. No, that sounds like beam up. That's not gonna work.
That sounds like what a
Only
southern
when
person would
Scotty's
short it to.
around.
Beam up. Beam up.
But here's the problem with shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em up. I feel like you could call a first person shooter or a third person shooter a shoot 'em up.
No, that's a shooty bang bang.
Yeah, it's a shooty bang bang.
I'm just saying shoot 'em up doesn't scream vertical or horizontal space shooter. You know what I mean? Or I guess it doesn't have to be a space shooter, because like 1942 and all that was World War II. But shoot 'em up doesn't feel super descriptive, so we need a descriptor for that.
You are shooting them up.
Yeah.
So I'm shooting down.
What if
Shmadown.
can we get a shmadown? Does that
Shmadown.
shmaangly?
Ooh. Oh, Captain Skyhawk. Shma angles.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Or Zaxxon. It's a schmangle. Oh my
Schmangle.
god, we got to move
Schmangle.
on.
Schmangle.
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 That sounds dirty. Oh my goodness. Listen, you want to read the next one before I lose it again?
Sure. Sean Coates writes, as it currently stands, games made by Quantic Dream or Telltale are currently known as adventure games. To me, that's too broad of a description. I think we should call them interactive cinematic narratives. I know it's a mouthful, but it's a clearer distinction from action-oriented adventures like Uncharted or Tomb Raider, and it offers a more accurate expectation of what these narrative-driven experiences entail.
ICNs?
Yep. No. Nope, you're wrong. I think you just need to rearrange that. Cinematic interactive narratives. Sins.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Because
Got a
adventure...
new sin.
See, the problem is adventure games, I would never consider a Telltale or a Quantic Dream game an adventure game.
I wouldn't either. Like when I
No.
hear adventure, I think
Tomb Raider.
exploration
Yeah.
and some platforming or swashbuckling or something like that. And I don't consider Quantic games adventure games. Like I think we associate
A
adventure
choose
games
your own
with like
adventure game.
They're memes.
Right.
Movie
or
games.
point and click adventures. You know what I mean? Like those are
Whoa! What did you just say, Alyssa?
They're memes. Movie games.
memes. Well, that means something completely different in the
Yeah, let's get Billy.
in the
on
arcade
phone.
world. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
Frickin'
No, it's
cool.
something bad. It's just
Okay,
like
I was gonna say if I said something inappropriate, I'm sorry.
But I do like
No.
Sins. Cinematic
Yeah.
and interactive narratives.
write that one down. We gotta we
Yeah.
gotta put this all up together.
I don't have a pen.
All right, CB.
Kevin Honigford, Souls-like, a little closer to realistic when getting hit by a 500-pound hammer.
That just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, just 500-pound hammer will work.
There you go.
Roguelike, do-over.
I mean, that's just like
not
mine.
wrong.
Try again. Try agains.
Try hards.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
No.
Try hards means something completely different.
Oh,
In,
it does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It
I
does,
just realized
yeah.
that.
Platformer, Jumpy McJump Stuffs. Love it. Jumpy boys. First person
Before you
shooters.
die.
I see, I shoots.
Like,
Um,
I fits, I sits.
Oh yeah. Vampire Survivors like Horde Hell.
Hey,
See,
that's
I
not
like
bad.
that. Because
Yeah,
also
that's good.
or just cow levels.
Again, you have to know what that's originally based. I guess you had to know what horde mode is too.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because like you're still battling hordes of enemies. So, but would what's that Japanese game where you fight hordes? Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah,
Would that
Dynasty
be considered
Warriors.
a
That
horde
has a-
hell?
Probably. What's the actual? They have a specific title for those games, but I cannot think of what it is for the life of me.
I don't know. Slashy boys.
Slashy boy.
Slashy boys.
I do like cow level.
I'm gonna read the next two here. First off, Josh
Okay.
Steima. Vampire Survivors like should be called "Go in Circles to Buy Yourself Time."
It's true.
Yeah.
That's only if you don't know the proper combinations.
Yeah. Over on Discord, Thomas Beck says, I don't see why platformer needs to be replaced. It conveys exactly what it needs to convey, even to non-gaming humans. Same with first-person shooter. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Thomas is with me. See? That's why
See, I'm okay with that, but shooty bang bang.
Yes. I'm glad you like it, CB.
Dude, I love it. I mean, I also like Jumpy Boys.
Shooty, bang, bang. You're going to call it that from now on. I hate it.
Jumpy Boys?
I mean, shooty, bang, bang. It's just...
Shooty bang bang? Call of Duty. It's
Ah.
my favorite shooty bang bang of the year.
All right, Alyssa.
Drew Ross. Souls-like, hard as bleep game. Roguelike, try again game.
Oh, hey, see?
There's another one.
Yeah, but
Platformer.
RBR sounds better.
RBS does sound better. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
wasn't the only one that thought of
RBR.
try agains.
Yeah.
Run
said
based
RBR.
randomizer.
That's what I said. RBR.
No, you said RBS.
Did I?
Yes.
That's what I said. Booty trap.
Oh, thank you for the Goonies reference.
Platformer, side-scroller game.
No, because you could have third person or first or
that's true.
3D platformers.
Like a 2D gear gated game.
Shut up! I dropped that habit. Thank you very much.
First person shooter, pew 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 game. So we're on a similar wavelength there.
Yeah.
Fighter beat 'em up game, which
I mean, beat 'em up. I think of like brawlers, like
yeah.
Double Dragons and stuff is what I think of a beat 'em up.
Punchy
and then
boys.
finally, Vampire Survivors like Sticks game.
Sticks game.
Because you play with the thumbstick.
Oh yeah.
Like a twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
Well, that was what I tried to coin at the beginning, a lone stick shooter, because it's you only use one stick.
Yeah.
And that never stuck. Lone stick shooter. All right, got a couple more. CB,
here comes the book.
Yeah.
Damon Newman.
That wasn't me this time.
Damon Newman writes in. First, I agree with Thomas about FPS and platformers. I think they are descriptive enough to tell what the core gameplay is of games in those genres. Wow,
Oh
had a brain
gave
fart.
him the longest email.
Dude, I had a brain fart. It happens. Shooty boys. I think there's obviously a component of laziness as to why we use popular titles and slap like or clone at the end of each. And you have a name for the game. Wow. Jeez, this is a book, man. But when I was thinking...
You want me to read it?
No, I'm getting there. I got to chew through this. It's like beef jerky. But when I was thinking about some of these genres, I had a hard time coming up with something satisfying. And I think it's because these genres don't have one thing that really defines them. But it's a collection of different aspects that make something a roguelike / light or a Souls-like. Souls-like are just wow, man, just words. Doctor, please. Souls-like are not just brutal combat where you die a lot. There's also usually an element of bonfires or something similar for checkpoints. And most of the time you lose your XP you don't spend. Roguelite isn't just play until you die and start from the beginning. Usually there's a level of progression with each run, procedural generation of levels and randomization of weapons and items. So while I've tried to tackle, I'm not sure I could come up with something satisfying enough to capture what makes these games the way they are, but here are my efforts. Thank you, David. Of note, I try to keep each genre 3 words or less. Seems like every genre goes by that and seems to flow better. MMORPG is just the combining of two different genres.
That's true.
Yeah. Vampires like. I saw this before and I think it works. Auto shooter. See, I like auto shooter. I think that these follow the 3-word rules and make it. Okay, here we go.
The problem is they're not all auto shooters. Like some of them you actually still pull the trigger. You know what I mean?
Then it's a twin stick shooter.
No, you're doing that with the trigger. You're not shooting with another stick.
Well, some when you push forward on the stick, you just start shooting.
Yeah, some of them.
So survival auto shooter, SAS, or wanted to be funny, auto surviving shooter.
So you get the great acronym. Survival auto shooter. I think I like that better than just auto shooter. Survival auto shooter. It's just you just have to call it a SAS.
To survive.
What?
The point of the game is to survive, so why would you need to put that in the title?
Because that describes what you're doing is surviving.
Yeah.
But isn't the point of all games to survive? Like I went into this game like I want to die. So how would that game work? A die auto shooter?
I know it's on the same shelf as Schmacross.
Schmacross. Yep. It's
Oh
it's
my
up there.
God.
It's a very unique subgenre.
All right.
Roguelite, best I can come up with a run-based randomizer, RBR.
I still think that's the best one.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's great. I love it. I'm sticking with it.
perfect.
Shooty, bang, bang.
Mm-hmm.
Souls-like, this really doesn't encapsulate what makes a Souls-like, but I came up with skill-based combat. Hope someone can come up with something better than that because there are plenty of non-Souls-likes that have skill-based combat. Yeah, skill-based combat doesn't really work.
It seems too broad. But if you could do, because the things that make Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring and all those, a lot of it is the discovery element, right? Like it's experimenting and maybe incorporate something with learning.
So I mean, because frustration station.
Frustration station.
Masochist stream.
There you go.
Well, for me, because like half the time you're like, oh god, I couldn't quite get there to get to that checkpoint. Frustrated.
Yeah, I'm stuck in the frustration station.
Yeah, that might be the best one. Our last comment comes from Paul Hine. He says, I was giving this some thought. I went through the different genres and did two things. First, what I think is most descriptive. Second, what did it first or best first. And third, what sold the most, best to my knowledge. So, for platformers, Donkey Kong clone or Super Mario-like. So we're kind of going backwards, Paul.
Paul Hine's like, no, I'm just throwing the book out.
Procedurally generated repeater. Ooh. PGR? Procedurally generated repeater. I like what it says. I just don't think it rolls off the tongue quite as well as
a run-based randomizer.
Run-based randomizer, yeah. He also said rogue clone or a Binding of Isaac like.
See, I would prefer a Dead Cells like.
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. I love Binding of Isaac.
Skill-based hunting game, Monster Hunter clone or Dark Souls like. First-person shooter, Wolfenstein clone, Call of Duty like. Shoot 'em up, Space Invaders clone or Defender like. Fighting game, Karate Champ clone or Mortal Kombat like.
Did you really have to choose Karate Champ?
When I think solid fighting games, Karate Champ is not near the top of my list.
Like, if I was going to choose anything from that era, it would have been a Mike Tyson clone.
There you go. Yeah. Although that's arguably more of a puzzle game. Mike Tyson, Punch-Out?
It's not a puzzle game.
Sure it is.
It's a puzzle game if you try to cheat your way through it.
No. Auto shooter, magical survival clone, or Vampire Survivors like. Again, does not roll off the tongue very well. He says, after looking through this list, I see the clever names: Shmup, Bullet Hells, Bemups, Metroidvanias. Those are more fun and far less specific.
I still love Bullet Hell.
Again, I think that's a great descriptor for, but I also feel like that's almost a subgenre of shmup.
It is.
Not all shmups are bullet hell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like a bullet hell is definitely a subgenre. Because you have like Ikaruga or that one weird one that I played for, I can't remember the name of it. Japanese girls and stuff.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Was it Death Smiles?
No.
That was on the 360.
But it was in the style of Death Smiles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's that one that we were playing on Xbox a while back where it was more like military, and it was almost like had that rogue element where you're going back and doing it over and over again? Something. Wing. Man, that game was so good.
Sky
Arcadia or something. We're gonna think of it after the show.
Yeah, I know. But that was a good one.
That's a really good game. That's a good game. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who helped us out. I think we've got a list now. Let's see. Go back to the top. First-person shooter.
Shooty, bang, bang.
Roguelike or lights.
RBRs.
Run-based. RVRs.
Yeah.
Run-based randomizers. Souls-like. What do we land on?
Frustration Station.
Yeah.
Frustration Station. And platformers, I think we're all good with.
Jumpy
platformers.
Boys.
We're not
You
calling
fall,
them
you
jumpy
die.
boys. You fall, you die. Vampire Survivors like. Auto shooters, did we land on?
Yeah, survival auto shooter.
Survival. I mean, it's the only reasonable one we came up with. And then Shmacrosses.
Yep.
I mean,
it still just makes me giggle.
For Vampire, sorry, you could go Spitty Boys.
You go what?
Spinny Boy.
Spinny boy.
Spitty Boys.
Spinny.
Spinny.
Spinny Boy.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Next week, we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have a special guest to come talk to us about Japanese role-playing games, and we're going to bring on Mr. Brandon Smith, the creator of Final Fantasy Renaissance, which is an updated version of the original Final Fantasy game on the NES. You've heard us talk about him in the past. He was at R2V2. Really awesome guy, and we're just going to have a whole episode or whole topic centered around just the whole entire genre, why we think it's special, and what some of our favorite entries into the series are. So look forward to that. Stay tuned to the socials. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. The episode was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. CB, do you have any parting words or recommendations for the listeners before we are done for the night?
So I've recently been cleaning and sorting a giant movie collection.
Yeah.
And I've been going through and every now and then watching some of these old movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised because there's been like a few movies here and there that I've come across that I'm just like, I remember everybody talking about them and them being like, oh, this movie was like great or something. So I have two quick movie things that I'm like, why I'm asking the community, why do people like these?
Okay.
So I watched Stripes for the first time ever.
I know people that just absolutely love that movie. I've never seen it.
I haven't watched it either.
Yeah, because Bill Murray, John Candy, Harold Ramis, love all of them.
Didn't Harold Ramis direct that one or write that one or something?
Something along those lines. So I watched that and I did not find it funny at all.
Oh, really?
I was. It was just like, okay, yep, it's here.
Yeah.
It for me, for such comedic rates, it was the most blah comedy I've ever seen.
Wow,
and I know I'm gonna catch a lot of crap for that.
Probably.
But the other one, and Scott, I hope you watch this because I recently added it to the Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Gung Ho.
Oh, Michael Keaton?
Yes. I've
never seen it.
I have not seen that movie in forever, and I still enjoy it. Like it's a
car industry in Detroit, right?
It's not Detroit, but it is car industry.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought it was Detroit.
No, but it's definitely worth a watch if you find it. It's a solid movie. So
okay.
Also just for you, Scott, I put it on there, but stay tuned.
I saw you put that on there.
Oh, dude, you need to watch that movie. That movie's great.
Okay. Alyssa, what about you?
I don't really have any recommendations because I have been suffering through a depressive episode because I do have major depressive disorder, or as it's more commonly known, chronic depression. I'm not shy about talking about it. I don't mind talking about it. So if anyone out there deals with it, just know I understand. Something that's helped me is I've had to delete Facebook and Twitter off my phone because posts were triggering me. Like, just, I don't know. It's been the weirdest thing. This is one of the, like, it's never really happened to me before, but just seeing people's posts and photos just makes me sometimes just break down sobbing. Like, it's real. I don't know why. And I'm about to have to delete Instagram off my phone too, which is like, no, because that's where I share all my K-pop stuff that no one cares about. But, sometimes you gotta do what, you know, is necessary for you, even though, yeah, I do have FOMO, but it's like, do I do it to the detriment of my mental health just so I don't miss out on some piece of news or someone's status update or their post update, or do I try to take care of myself? Because I do feel a little better when those aren't on my phone where I can't access them and look, because I guess I'm a little masochistic in the fact that I will go and torture myself by looking at stuff like that. So I'm just saying, take care of yourself. Do what you gotta do. Don't be afraid of a little bit of FOMO if it's gonna help you in the long run.
There you go.
Just do what you need to do, because it's not easy dealing with depression, and it's hard to be motivated to do stuff. So, whatever helps, do what you need to do. Treat yourself like you're sick, because you are. In a different way than most people would consider. Just be kind to yourself, and that includes not checking social media if that's something that's harmful for you, which I have learned. is harmful for me. So that's just my advice.
There you go. And if you you need someone to talk to, you got 2 people right here that are always...
I know, and I love you guys. And you guys don't trigger me, by the way. You two are safe. Well, and Zach, you three are safe.
I love how you sit here and say 2 people. I'm always down to talk to people. I feel it. I have to deal with some messed up stuff on a regular basis, so I understand.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing an old movie recommendation as well, because it's a movie that I watched for the first time ever, and I'm probably going to lose some credibility when I say I have not seen this movie until now. But it was on sale for $10 in 4K on Amazon, so I picked up The Abyss. James Cameron's The Abyss.
I haven't seen that one either. So
holy cow, that movie is great.
A few times James Cameron did something good.
What are you talking about, man?
I can't stand James Cameron.
He made Aliens.
And which of the 2 movies do I think is better?
I'm just saying, it's like your favorite franchise.
Anyway, I love Alien.
I like James Cameron, and I should not have been as surprised that it was a good movie, but man, that movie was engaging from start to finish. It's just so entertaining, and it's an older film. It just still holds up really, really well, and I really enjoyed it. So if you've not checked it out, check it out. Pretty good.
If you haven't watched it, Scott, now go back and watch the making of it.
Oh yeah,
dude, that movie. To this day, some people are astonished how that movie got made because of the things they had to do to make that movie.
I was wondering about what they did, with putting Ed Harris in the suit at the end. Is that what you're referring to?
No.
I've heard of stories from that set, stuff that was horrifying.
People, a lot of people almost died making that movie.
I believe it.
Because to this day, they built the largest water tank ever to film a movie in.
Mm-hmm.
To the fact that if certain things had gone wrong from a structural engineering standpoint, a lot of people would have died.
Oh yeah.
But go watch the making of it, because it will blow your mind, how insane that movie is.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. As soon as I was done, I wanted to go watch Sphere. Remember that Dustin Hoffman movie? I like that movie. I know it got a bad rap. I think
I haven't seen that one. I have so much catching up to do.
Michael Crichton, yeah. I really like that movie.
The book is so good.
Is it? I remember the movie, the ending was kind of disappointing, but
that one always breaks my heart, because I read that book before the movie came out, and that book is so phenomenal, and then you watch the movie and you're like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen before too.
It is what it is. Well, guys, thanks so much for being here. This was a blast. I laughed way harder at that topic than I thought I was going to, so it was a great time. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll check you next time. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Chris Behrensmeyer and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.